Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Squid Talks. This is episode 1. Today we'll be interviewing the creator of Sonic FE, the game I've been streaming recently. Let me just call him up. And here he is.
Hello.
Hello. Oh, I'm happy to have you today. Any thoughts before we start the interview?
Hope I don't lose this game of TFT.
Okay, yeah. So, first question is, what inspired you to make this project?
So, what inspired me to make this project is that I really like Sonic, but mostly it's because I really liked the music from the composer, the music that I used,
Ah,
and
hmm,
I wanted to hear more of the music, and I wanted other people to hear it, and so I decided to put it in a game. That's pretty much it, really.
nice. Hmm.
So
Yeah,
that's like, it is because I like Sonic, but
yeah,
mostly because I like the music that I
yeah.
chose.
Okay, these next couple of questions are gonna be asking about um, uh, hmm, about the you well, how you decide how to write the characters. Yeah. What made
So,
you
go
decide
ahead.
to? Oh wait, my big question right now is what made you decide to make being a lightning mage?
So the reason why I decided to make him a lightning mage is because
Hmm.
even though fire would fit for him, I already have Blaze. Spoiler alert: Blaze is the
Yeah,
fire
yeah,
mage. Who could have ever guessed? But um, she fits fire a lot more than he does, and so I decided to make
ah,
her the fire mage, and I didn't need another one, so
yeah,
now she's there.
yeah. I assumed that. Though my also assumption was lightning has a big makes bigger boom sound than a fire does.
Yeah, it's more of an explosion than just a normal
Yeah,
fire. Like, of course, some explosions do have
yeah,
fire, but it's that explosion part that makes it really sell it for me.
yeah. Okay, next question. And how do you select the roles in the story? Well, in the current chapters for the characters.
How do I select the current roles for the characters?
Yeah.
Um, hmm. It's been like over a year since I wrote these chapters. I, huh. I can't quite remember, but I don't know. I like Sonic characters a lot. I like the Sonic characters much more than I like playing the games at this point.
Yeah, I feel that. I
Not to say
feel
that the games
that.
are bad. Not
That
to say that the games are bad.
the
It's
games
fine.
aren't bad. The games are just highly frustrating.
I wouldn't say they're frustrating. Just that type of high speed platforming gameplay doesn't interest me anymore.
Yeah,
I'm mostly into character interactions and
yeah. I'm
stories,
all for
which you
character
can't really
interactions, but
get in a Sonic game,
yeah, character interactions
because
are why I love Fire Emblem games and other RPGs.
mm-hmm. And so since I like the characters so much more than the gameplay at this point, because I grew up with the characters, I decided that you know I just want to experience more of the Sonic characters, which is why I liked Frontiers, because there was much more of that emphasis on the story, and so I basically just
Yeah.
chose the characters I fit with whose personality would fit that part in the story,
Hmm.
and I try to keep them have some parallels with the main games, which is why
Yeah. Which,
Jet and Wave are like, they're not a group of thieves yes,
They're
but
sellswords.
they are. Yeah, they're a group of people who try to get money, no matter what.
Yeah,
Which
one of
is sort of
the
similar to how they are
yeah,
in the games,
morally
but not
neutral
exactly.
characters.
Mm-hmm.
It's- yeah,
Yeah,
let's
but
see.
I just basically chose characters whose personalities would fit the plot that I had in mind.
Ah,
And as far as the playable cast, another reason why I chose these characters in particular is because I only care about the games. I don't care about the comics or the TV shows, pretty much.
yeah,
So the
I
playable
completely get
cast would be
that.
only. Mm,
I only really care for the games and IDW comics, and the only reason I care for the IDW comics is because there's a lot more character interaction in those than in the games.
mm, yes, there's a lot. So I haven't read any of the comics.
Yeah,
I've only played the games, and
eh,
I've
if
watched a few. I've watched Sonic X, not a lot of it, and I only watched the English dub,
yeah,
which is heavily censored. But I watched Sonic Boom, and I also watched Sonic Prime, and I didn't like what they did with some of the characters in both shows, Prime and Boom.
yeah.
So
Boom is its own canon. Prime, it's
yeah,
more focused around alternate versions of the main cast as well as our normal Sonic and Shadow. So,
yeah,
yeah,
no, I've watched them, but just I didn't like some of the way that they chose to characterize some of the characters. So I
yeah,
thought I would just do it
yeah.
myself in a way that
Yeah.
I would like. So
When it comes to Boom, I don't like that instead of making Knuckles a little smart but naive like he is in the games and comics, they just made him flat out dumb.
yeah, I didn't really enjoy that either. I thought it was
Yeah, the characters are very
very not
watered
good
down in
to say
Boom.
the least.
Anyways, on to the next question. This one I'm asking mainly for my older sister. When is what chapter are we gonna be getting Knuckles?
So plan the I do plan the chapters a bit ahead of time, but I don't have the entire thing planned out. So I don't know
Ah,
exactly when Knuckles is going to appear, but it's going to be sooner rather than later. If your
yeah.
sister really likes Knuckles, I can show her the design because it's
I've
pretty
already showed
ugly.
her the design.
Oh, you've already showed her. Okay, what does
Yeah.
she think about it?
Eh, eh. She said it's on the better side of Knuckles designs.
Just the better side of Knuckles designs. It's not amazing. It's not great. I'm personally offended, and I will be writing a strongly worded letter to your sister's lawyers. Thank you.
Yeah. These
All
next
right.
questions are going to be regarding the skills for the personal skills for the characters, such as Sonic's spin dash skill. So, what was the
What
thought
about his
process
skill?
behind those?
So, really, I just wanted to create skills that were interesting to play around. So I didn't
Ah,
really have any
yeah,
specific thing in mind when it came to certain skills. I chose skills that would be one interesting to have on your team, and two that would represent the character.
yeah.
So skills like
Yeah.
Cream, I feel like that
That
skill
heal
fits her
boost is
very well.
very useful. The heal boost is very useful.
Hmm.
Honestly, I've
And
had
also,
yeah, you can finish speaking. You're the one being interviewed here.
okay, yes, and also another reason why I have that skill on Cream is because she would be flat out useless without it. Because I've made healing be not as effective in my
It's
project
it's not really
on
as
purpose.
effective in most newer games either, because most healers are a lot. Despite being able to defend themselves now, they're all still very squishy.
Well, it's mostly just I I don't want healing to be
Mm.
super
You know,
overpowered because I feel like
yeah.
a lot of
Eh,
the older games, the healing unit, like there's a lot of healing, and of course
yeah.
healing is limited in Fire Emblem, the Fire Emblem
Yeah.
forms
They've
regardless
kept
because you
the
can't.
only items that still have, well, the only I, weapon class that really has durability still is staves.
Mm,
Yeah.
so I just decided I wanted to have a project where healing is not as
Yeah.
readily available as normal Fire Emblem,
Yeah, it gives you the, yeah.
similar to that project that just released called
Hmm.
the Hag and White.
Ah.
In that project, there is only one healing
Hmm.
unit for the entire
Oh,
game,
fun.
and so
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so I decided that way before that game came out, I wanted to try my hand at something where healing is
Yeah.
not as
I
as
noticed that. With how you're treating the healers, it reminds me of Effie, 7, where you don't really get the healer till a couple chapters in, despite the fact that you start with one, and then you have to wait more than half the game to get your second healer.
I wanted something like that, except for you have the healer at the beginning, but it's
She's just
not
very squishy.
as yeah, it's just not as
Yeah,
powerful because the healing staff that you have, the reason why I gave her the skill that she has is because the healing comes from her. Without her, that regeneration staff would
yeah,
only give the status that regenerates, so it wouldn't even have a
yeah,
flat heal. So I gave her that skill specifically because I didn't want her to be completely useless at the beginning
yeah,
of the game, and so like if she didn't have that skill, then she'd be complete garbage because
yeah,
her only healing gives a stat. Her only healing would give a status that heals over time. It doesn't even have the initial flat heal, and I
yeah.
would use her. So
Yeah, I
that's why I
noticed
did
that
that.
with the enemy healers, very annoying still, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, when it comes to the skills, ones I've had the most fun playing around are Sonic's Spin Dash and both of Big's skills.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Big's skills I feel were really evocative of him being the protector of
Yeah,
Team Rose,
yeah.
and you definitely needed something because this
he,
game is supposed to be more difficult than
yeah,
usual.
he's the
Well,
only reason I
it's not
haven't
gonna
lost
be.
Amy yet on my stream run.
Um, yeah, so basically, she's not supposed to be overpowered, but she's also not
Yeah,
supposed to be completely useless, which
though
is why
I
she
am
has
gonna
that
say
skill.
this: Amy's skill is useless until the fourth chapter.
Well, yeah, that's on purpose because I like skills. I like characters that grow. I don't particularly like pre promotes. That's not to say that they're bad or anything. I just prefer to
Yeah,
have units that
pre-promotes should be
grow.
saved exclusively for the late game.
I wouldn't say they should be exclusively for the late game.
Exclusively for mid game. If the, near the mid game is when they should be introduced. Because sure, I love most of the pre-promote units, but they make the game a lot easier than it should be.
I wouldn't say that they make. Well, I mean, they do make the game easier, but the choice to use that unit is on the player.
Yeah,
Like they don't have to. Like whenever I play Fire Emblem 8, I never use Seth. Not because he's bad, it's because I prefer to have units that grow. And if Seth is killing everything, you can't really do that. So
yeah,
I just
yeah.
use Seth.
Honestly, I try not to use Seth unless I have to on FE8. But then with FE Awakening, since Frederick's one of my favorite characters, I use him either way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, the main reason I said Amy's skill is useless until the fourth chapter is because you don't gain the ability to gain. Supports don't get turned on until the fourth chapter.
Mm-hmm. See, that's another thing that I wanted to make sure like a lot of Fire Emblems, or at least the older ones, don't. Well, I think
You don't get support till
no,
at
I
least
think
the
actually no. That's just I'm wrong. It's just seven that does that. I think where you can't get
FE8 you
support until
don't
the second
gain the
one.
support. You don't gain your ability to get supports until the second chapter. In FE7 you don't gain the ability to get supports until Elliewood's story.
Yeah, and that's pretty far in for a Fire Emblem game.
Yeah,
Like not an eight though, because I mean like chapter one
yeah.
is
Chapter one is when
not
you
really
get
much to
them,
do.
but and the prologue you only have two characters anyways.
So I wanted to address the reason why I made the supports come later is because I wanted to address
Hmm.
how some characters, well, some
Hmm.
writing in Fire Emblem games, I feel, in official ones, I feel really kind of like it kind of like speed runs friendships
Yeah, yeah.
in my opinion.
Eh.
And so I wanted the characters not to have the ability to support with each other immediately because they don't really
Yeah,
know each other.
yeah,
But in my story, they've been traveling together for several weeks, and so of course at that point, then
yeah,
they would be comfortable getting to know each other.
yeah.
So that's why
I,
I decided to make
this is
supports
something I noticed on my
come later.
personal run, but I got Amy and Rouge's C rank support and noticed that they didn't have a conversation for it. Is that intentional?
No, I just haven't written it yet.
Ah, yeah,
Supports, like most hackers, like most Fire Emblem hack makers, supports are very low on the priority list.
yeah, that
So
makes
they'll be
sense.
done eventually.
They'll be done
They'll be
eventually.
done eventually.
This is a very story and character driven project. I also
See, I
noticed.
like
Oh,
Fire Emblem.
yeah. You
Go
may.
ahead.
You can continue talking.
Okay, so I like Fire Emblems for the gameplay a lot,
Yeah.
but you know,
Mhm.
the story is the reason why I play a Fire Emblem game.
Yeah.
The gameplay, it's mostly for the story, and the gameplay is there to see. I like Fire Emblem gameplay a lot because why wouldn't
Yeah.
I play
It's
Fire Emblem if
very
I like
unique
it?
for tactical RPGs.
But I wouldn't say it's unique. But I think that the story
Yeah.
for me is what gets me to continue to play the game. Because I
Yeah.
play lots of hacks where there is no story and the focus is 100% on gameplay, and
Yeah.
that's not interesting to me. So I don't play them. I
Yeah.
stop them. So I wanted to have an interesting story with interesting characters that I like. So that's why I made this project.
Yeah. As I was about to say earlier, I noticed that I've enjoyed the fact that you've implemented the conversations feature from the Tellius series of games.
So I haven't implemented that. That's just in
It's just
the
in it. Yeah.
yeah. That's just in the
But it was entirely
by
your
default.
choice to use it.
I mean, yeah, sure. I could have not used it,
Yeah.
but why would you not use it?
It makes the characters so much more. It gives them so much more personality.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
That's
I
why
don't.
I
Yeah.
chose to do it.
Yeah. It's my one complaint with most modern games after the Tellius series. Sure, they're great. I've enjoyed them all. They've all had decent to good stories. But I'm missing interactions between the characters that aren't important ones.
Hmm.
And outside of the
That's the
supports.
one thing, and that's why I don't like a lot of the writing for the more
Yeah.
modern Fire Emblem games
I
too.
liked Three Houses since all the students actually had dialogue and not just the Lord unit and their retainer.
I can't say that I agree on that point because while there was more interaction between characters and
Yeah,
retained characters,
the Lord and
I
retainer
feel
still talked a lot more than everyone else.
yeah, I feel like the character interactions were very not interesting in my opinion
Yeah,
because a lot of them
you
a
don't
lot of the
learn
time during the
all
a
of.
lot of the time
Yeah,
during the main story it was just the the when they're briefing about what they're about to do in the map
yeah,
and
I.
one character says one trait they like Bernadetta says one thing, I want to hide, and that's her
Yeah,
concentration.
I would
And
like it if
the
in
difference,
later Fire Emblem games they actually start giving you lore about the characters outside of their introduction chapter and supports.
mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want to spend yeah, like what they did with Sylvain in Free Houses. Sylvain was very fleshed out for a side character.
I like what they did with the
They
side
put in so
characters
much
in Free
effort with
Houses.
the side characters in the Blue Lions route, but then did practically none for the Black Eagles characters.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like it's hit or miss to me.
Yeah, Blue Lions is probably the best in terms of character interaction. You gotta see Ash's reaction to Lenato's rebellion, and Sylvain's reaction to his brother. It just,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Yeah. Are there any questions you personally want to explain?
Um, I can't think of any off the top of my head. If you ask them, I'll try to answer them to my best ability.
Yeah, I asked this earlier during the stream, and you did answer, but what what software do you use for making the sprites?
I did answer that. You just didn't read it.
I did read it, but I realized I would rather get the answer in this video for people who watch it wondering how you made the sprites.
So I made the sprites using a image editing program called Sprite.
Mm.
It is a program that's specifically for pixel art and animations. So a lot of indie developers who
Yeah.
use sprite artwork use this program. And
Ah.
it's a really good program for that. But I mean, in all honesty, you don't need a sprite. It really helps with making pixel art, but you
Yeah.
don't need it. If you want to do
Yeah.
pixel art, all you need all you need is an older version of MS Paint
Yeah.
before they started making the pencil tool automatic,
Yeah.
which is a really
Yeah.
bad decision if you ask me. All you need is that, or a
Yeah.
binary tool in any image
Yeah.
editing program. So,
Let's
mm-hmm.
see. Now, to end this off, any advice you would like to give to people like myself who plan on making a project like this in the future?
What you need to do is you need to plan. Don't just
Hmm.
come at a project just to like, if you want to make it really good, like if you just want to make a project just for fun, do whatever. You know, it's just fun. You're enjoying yourself.
Yeah.
But like, if you want it to be
Hmm.
a smooth process, I should say, because any project can be good no matter how you make it. Any
Yeah.
project can be bad no matter how you make it. But if you want it to be a smooth process, you need to plan, especially when it comes to RPGs, which are
Yeah.
planning. The game is really the whole gameplay is planning itself. You really need to plan. You need to
Yeah.
plan ahead. You need to write your things out. You need to plan your characters. Who's going to be here? Who's going to join at this time? What weapon are they going to join with? What weapons? How do I want the player to be able to approach this
Yeah.
problem?
What will the
How
shops
powerful
have?
do I?
What will the shops have? How balanced are the enemies in the upcoming chapters?
Mm-hmm. How powerful do I want the player to be at this point in the game, and how powerful do I want the enemy units to be? You
Yeah.
got to plan. Don't just jump at it and just do whatever because your
Yeah.
projects. I'm not gonna say it's gonna be bad, but likely it's not
It's
gonna be as good
it's
as it
not
could
gonna reach its
be
full potential. Yeah.
if you don't plan it ahead. And also, you need to have playtesters. You need to get a lot of people
Yeah.
to
Playtesters are
playtest your
important.
project. Mm-hmm. Because I've played a lot of Fire Emblem projects where of Fire Emblem packs and fan games where they just drop it on Fire Emblem Universe complete. No one's ever heard of it, and they say, "Yeah, I play tested it myself," or it hasn't
Yeah.
been play
This
tested at
you
all.
don't want to be your
And
own playtester, or else no one's gonna spread the word.
well, it's
People
that's a
will,
reason
but
why.
It's better to have multiple
Yeah,
people playtest it, because then you can get different takes.
hmm yes, but it's more important to not playtest only by yourself because
Yeah. You
for
want to
me,
like it,
when
but you
I
want other
play,
people to like it as well.
yes, that's the reason. That's
Hmm.
the reason why. But most importantly, it's because you already know how to beat your project.
Yeah.
So your playtesting is not going to be as valuable as other people who don't know. Like I've played
Hmm.
my project so many times that I know the optimal move to do for every single time for every single
Yeah.
chapter. And because I know how to do this, it's very easy for me. And so when if you're just playtesting by yourself, you're gonna say this project is easy, and then
And
like
then,
this is
yeah.
great, and then you're gonna drop it, and then some people aren't gonna know how
Yeah,
to
we're
play
gonna
it
go, why
because
is this so
it's
hard?
difficult because it's because you're so used to your own project, and that's why it's more important to not have yourself be the only playtester. You need to have multiple people be the
Yeah.
playtester. But also another thing to note is that don't take
Hmm.
every single
Hmm.
comment to heart or playtester to heart because a lot of these people don't know what they're doing
Yeah.
and they will do things like throw their units into the enemy's arms and then they'll die and then they'll say this project sucks or it's too
Yeah.
difficult and
It's,
you have to use a critical mind when you're
yeah.
using the critiques to make sure the criticism
Yeah.
to make sure it's
Take,
valid criticism
take critiques,
versus
not
people
complaints.
complaining. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Well, that's it for this interview. Last chance, anything you want to say before we end the call?
Join my server and play my project.
Yeah, I'll link both of those in the
This is a
description of the video and the pinned comment.
this is a shameless shill, and I
Uh,
do
uh,
not care.
this
Play my
entire video
project.
is a promotion for your project.
But
Well,
I'm being even more shameless about it. Play my project. Join my server. Chat with me. I like meeting new people and talking to new
it's a
people.
very friendly community. I can say that. I am a part of it. I've been trying to be more active, but yeah. Well, thank you for your time, and I hope you have a
Thank you
nice
for
day.
interviewing me.
Yep.
You too.
Well,
Rest easy, my guy.
yeah. See ya.
Bye.
Well, that was a fun interview. That's it for today's episode of Squid Talks. This is episode 1, interviewing the developer of Sonic FE. And have a nice day.